Here's something nobody tells you about emotional attachment. The very person you can't stop thinking about is the one you need to release the most. Your obsession isn't love. It's a psychological prison you've built with your own hands. Listen carefully. Every second you spend replaying conversations, checking their social media, or wondering what they're doing is a second you're not building the life you actually want. The Stoics understood this 2,000 years ago, and modern psychology proves them right. Your emotional attachment isn't noble. It's evolutionary programming designed to keep you stuck in patterns that no longer serve you. Today, I'm going to give you 5 ancient rules that will free you from the mental chains you've wrapped around someone who probably isn't even thinking about you right now. This isn't about becoming cold or heartless. This is about reclaiming your power and redirecting your energy toward what you can actually control. Rule 1. Accept what you cannot control. The first rule cuts straight to the bone. You cannot control another person's feelings, decisions, or actions. Full stop. This isn't philosophy. This is reality. Yet most people spend months, even years, trying to influence outcomes they have zero power over. Think about it. You've probably sent that text hoping for a specific response. You've changed your behavior thinking it would change theirs. You've analyzed every word, every gesture, looking for signs that aren't there. This is what the Stoics called preferring your judgments to reality. You're choosing your fantasy over what's actually happening. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present, not the future you hope for with them, not the past you're trying to recreate. The present moment, where you have complete control over your thoughts, actions, and responses." Here's the psychological truth. Attachment creates anxiety because it places your emotional well-being in someone else's hands. When you accept that you cannot control them, you immediately reduce the mental energy you're wasting on impossible outcomes. This isn't giving up. This is strategic withdrawal from a battle you cannot win. From an evolutionary standpoint, our brains developed attachment as a survival mechanism. In ancestral environments, being alone meant death. Your brain is still running that ancient software, creating psychological pain when separation occurs, but you're not in a life or death situation. You're in a modern context where independence is not only possible, it's necessary for growth. Start practicing this today. Every time you catch yourself trying to control their response, their mood, their decisions, remind yourself, this is not within my control. Then redirect that energy towards something that is. Your goals, your health, your personal development. Rule 2. Focus on your inner citadel. The Stoics had a concept called the inner citadel, the unassailable fortress of your mind that no external force can breach. His is where your true power lives. When you're emotionally attached to someone, you've essentially handed them the keys to this citadel. It's time to take them back. Your inner citadel consists of your values, your character, and your ability to choose your response to any situation. These are the only things that truly belong to you. Everything else, including that person you can't stop thinking about, exists outside your fortress walls. Think of it this way. Every time you check their Instagram, you're opening the gates. Every time you seek their validation, you're inviting them into your inner sanctuary. Every time you base your mood on their behavior, you're making them the ruler of your emotional kingdom. This is not strength. This is voluntary surrender. Here's what most people don't understand. Emotional detachment isn't about not caring. It's about caring from a position of strength rather than need. When you're secure in your inner citadel, you can appreciate people without requiring them. You can love without being dependent. You can connect without losing yourself. Practically, this means developing what psychologists call internal locus of control. Your happiness, your peace, your sense of worth. These come from within, not from external validation. Start each day by asking, what can I control today? Then focus exclusively on those things. The person you're attached to might be wonderful. They might even be right for you. But until you're complete within yourself, until your inner citadel is secure, any relationship you enter will be built on dependency, not choice. And dependency always breeds resentment, eventually. Rule 3. Practice negative visualization. This is perhaps the most powerful Stoic technique for emotional detachment, yet it's the one most people resist. Negative visualization, imagining loss before it happens, isn't pessimism, it's preparation. It's building emotional resilience by confronting reality instead of hiding from it. Here's how it works. Spend 5 minutes each day imagining that person completely removed from your life. Not because you want this to happen, but because it might happen, and your brain needs to process this possibility. Imagine them with someone else. Imagine never speaking to them again. Imagine your life continuing, thriving without them in it. Your initial reaction will be resistance. Your mind will create stories about why this exercise is wrong or unnecessary. That resistance is exactly why you need to do it. You're afraid to face the possibility of life without them because you've made them essential to your happiness. But they're not essential, they're preferred. There's a massive difference. From an evolutionary psychology perspective, our brains are wired to avoid imagining loss because in ancestral times, losing social connections often meant death. But modern life offers unlimited opportunities for connection and growth. The person you're attached to is one of millions of potential partners, friends, or collaborators. Negative visualization serves two purposes. It reduces the shock if loss actually occurs, and it increases appreciation for what you currently have. When you regularly contemplate life without them, their presence becomes a gift rather than a given. This shifts your relationship from need to gratitude, from attachment to appreciation. The Stoics weren't trying to create emotional numbness. They were trying to create emotional freedom. When you're not afraid of loss, you can love more deeply because you're not constantly protecting yourself from potential pain. You're engaging from choice, not fear. Practice this tonight. Sit quietly and imagine your life 6 months from now without this person. See yourself happy, fulfilled, pursuing your goals. Notice how your life continues, how you grow, how new opportunities emerge. This isn't about wanting them gone, it's about knowing you'll be okay regardless. Rule 4. Redirect your emotional investment energy is finite. Every moment you spend emotionally invested in someone else's life is energy not spent building your own. This isn't just philosophical advice, it's practical psychology. Your attention is your most valuable resource, and right now, you're giving it away for free to someone who hasn't earned it. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Your emotional attachment is often one-sided. While you're analyzing their every word and action, they're probably living their life without giving you a second thought. This isn't cruel, it's natural. They're focused on their own goals, their own problems, their own growth. You should be too. The Stoics understood that emotional energy is like physical energy. Use it or lose it. When you constantly think about someone else, worry about their feelings, or hope for their attention, you're depleting the energy you need for your own development. You're choosing their imaginary approval over your actual progress. Start tracking where your emotional energy goes. How much time do you spend thinking about them versus thinking about your goals? How much mental space do they occupy compared to your own projects, relationships, and growth? The ratio will probably shock you. Now redirect that energy, channel the passion you feel for them into passion for your own life. Take the attention you give their social media and give it to your own learning. Transform the time you spend hoping for their messages into time spent building something meaningful. This isn't about suppressing feelings. It's about investing them wisely. Emotions are meant to motivate action. Let your feelings about this person motivate you to become someone who doesn't need anyone's validation to feel complete. Let your attachment teach you about the kind of person you want to become. From an evolutionary standpoint, emotional attachments served to ensure we invested energy in relationships that supported survival and reproduction. But in modern life, one-sided attachment often prevents us from finding truly compatible partners because we're too focused on someone who isn't reciprocating our investment. Rule 5. Embrace philosophical distance. The final rule is perhaps the most profound. Learn to observe your own attachment with philosophical distance. Step back and study your own emotional patterns like a scientist studying data. This isn't cold analysis, it's conscious awareness. It's the difference between being controlled by your emotions and understanding them. When you feel that familiar pull toward checking their messages or hoping for their attention, pause. Ask yourself, what is this feeling really about? Usually, it's not about them at all. It's about your own unmet needs, unhealed wounds, or unresolved fears. They've become a symbol for something deeper. Acceptance, worth, love, security. The person you're attached to has become a mirror, reflecting your own insecurities back to you. Their attention makes you feel worthy because you don't feel worthy on your own. Their absence creates anxiety because you're afraid of being alone with yourself. This attachment isn't really about them. It's about you using them to avoid facing your own inner work. Seneca wrote, "Every new thing excites the mind, but a mind made steady by studying wisdom is not moved by novel things." Your attachment feels overwhelming because your mind isn't steady. You haven't developed the inner stability that comes from self-knowledge and self-acceptance. Start observing your attachment patterns. When do they intensify? What triggers them? What are you actually seeking through this connection? Usually, you're seeking external validation for internal wounds. You're hoping they'll give you something you need to give yourself. Acceptance, worth, love. This philosophical distance doesn't mean becoming cold or uncaring. It means understanding the difference between conscious choice and unconscious compulsion. When you choose to care about someone from a place of emotional stability, that caring is healthy and sustainable. When you're compulsively attached because of your own unmet needs, that attachment is toxic for both of you. The Stoics believed that wisdom came from understanding the nature of our own minds. Your attachment is teaching you something important about yourself. What you value, what you fear, what you think you need. Learn from it, then let it go. Here's what I want you to understand. Emotional detachment isn't about becoming emotionally unavailable. It's about becoming emotionally intelligent. It's about loving from strength rather than need, caring from choice rather than compulsion, connecting from completeness rather than emptiness. The person you're attached to might be incredible. They might even be right for you. But until you can be happy without them, you'll never be truly happy with them. Until you can thrive alone, you'll never thrive in partnership. Until you stop needing their validation, you'll never appreciate their genuine affection. This is the paradox of attachment. The more desperately you need someone, the less likely you are to attract or keep them. Desperation repels. Neediness suffocates. Attachment without detachment destroys what it claims to love. Start today. Accept what you cannot control. Fortify your inner citadel. Practice negative visualization. Redirect your emotional investment. Embrace philosophical distance. These aren't just techniques, they're a way of life. They're how you build the kind of unshakable confidence and emotional freedom that makes you magnetic to the right people while remaining untouchable by the wrong ones. You are not incomplete without them. You are not less valuable because they don't see your worth. You are not broken because this attachment feels overwhelming. You are human, learning to navigate the complex world of emotions and relationships. And like every skill worth mastering, it takes practice, patience, and persistence. The goal isn't to stop caring about people. The goal is to care about them in a way that enhances your life rather than consuming it. To love them in a way that makes you both stronger rather than weaker. To connect with them from a place of choice rather than need. Your emotional freedom is waiting on the other side of this attachment. Your authentic self is buried under these compulsive feelings. Your real life is being delayed by your focus on someone else's. It's time to come home to yourself. If this changed your perspective on attachment, comment below. I control my focus. Let that be your daily reminder that your attention, your energy, and your emotional investment are choices you make, not compulsions you suffer. Choose wisely.